Okay, so hi. Um, it's pretty late at night, but I need to make sure every day that I devote some of my day to being creative. So I started this day painting. It was just a few minutes, but started this day painting. So I'm going to finish today, this evening before I go to bed, making something with you. And I've been thinking, what do I want to make? I made a couple of videos over the last couple of days where I was making projects that were a little too complicated, required too much concentration, maybe a little too much skill, maybe a little bit too much time. And tonight, when I was walking Bugsy, I thought, you know what, we're going to stick with simple, we're going to stick with clean, and we're going to stick with projects that continue along the theme of love and sharing and giving and caring. That's what we're going to do instead of stepping into another genre or another idea. Now we've covered a number of the characters that I've been developing for my book for the last 13 years. We've done Joel, we've done Dixie the bird, we've done Jack the rabbit, we've done Max the turtle. I don't think we've done Bugsy yet. That one we have not done the cartoon version of Bugsy my dog, but we have done Scooter and my teddy bear, and then Scooter's grandson, Honey Bear, who belongs to my actual grandson. And I thought tonight we would skip over to one character that we haven't really talked about much, and that's Jimmy. Jimmy is based on several people I know, several friends of mine. He is named after my son, even though my son likes to be called James and not Jimmy. He's James. I decided to name him Jimmy. It's just a little bit lighter, although I could change my mind because that happens. But here's Jimmy. Our character Jimmy is a baby being cradled. And this is one project I thought about doing, but the hand became too complicated to explain it quickly. So we'll do this another day. But there's James as a baby. Or Jimmy, sorry, as a baby. Here's Jimmy in different poses. When I was trying to figure Jimmy out a little bit, I put him in all different poses. So he's a little bit older than baby Jimmy, not too much older. His looks become older depending on how I've illustrated him, but that doesn't matter. Well, that's another piece we're going to work on another day. But so there's Jimmy in different poses. And here's Jimmy playing and dreaming up ideas for play. And we almost did this. I almost did this for this video, but it's too complicated. So we're going to go back to caring and sharing and love, and the idea also of Mother's Day, so that we can make something we can give to someone. And we're going to use Jimmy. We're going to use the character Jimmy in this. So why don't we start off with Jimmy? Again, I've got my scrap paper. Now I'm using my Sharpies. I've got a big Sharpie. I've got a skinny Sharpie. I also have a black ballpoint pen just in case, glue stick, and I've got a couple of pairs of scissors. But let's start with Jimmy. And once again, I didn't think this all the way through. So bear with me. Let's see. To start Jimmy, we're just going to start with a circle. Just a circle. Then we're going to add an oval down bottom. See how it's crossing over? The two are crossing over. That's almost where his mouth is going to be. And we're going to make his nose, but I'm going to take his nose. How do I want him to look? I want his nose a little down and a little off center. If the nose were going to be right in the center, it would be right there on that line. but I want to put it off to the side just a little bit. It makes him just a little bit more interesting, I think. We're going to draw his eyes, and they're just above the oval. Okay, this might change. You know how I am. I think I made his eyes too big. Make them a little bit smaller. There. So his eyes, look at that one's very close to that line and close to the oval, but not quite touching. And then this eye is just over a little to the side of the nose. Okay, we're going to draw, let me see, we're going to kind of slim his head down just a little bit, coming in a little bit from the circles. Okay, don't stress, this is not a big deal, because we're going to pen this in, and we'll figure it out then too. But we're going to add the ears. Now we just brought two lines in a little bit from the circle, brought them in a little bit closer to the eyes, and his ears, or one of his ears, is going to sit right there. So it's sitting right on top of that oval, coming up, almost the same height as the eye, and down below the nose. Maybe his ears are a little big, like mine. Now we're going to draw, we're going to kind of put in the mouth. The mouth is just a line right there. And then for his lips, I like his lips to be a little bit fuller. So I draw a light circle, just a very light circle, even when we go to put in, or sorry, oval, even when we go to put in his, oh, this looks awful, wait a minute. When we go to do this in ink, it's going to be a very light circle saying that, telling people his lips are a little bit fuller. All right, right now it's not good, but that's just the idea that we're putting down. So there's his mouth. It's turned up a little bit, just one line, and then for his lips, I want them a little bit fuller, so it's an oval. Okay, we're going to tackle the side of his face. We're going to curve this line down just a little bit, connecting the oval and the circle just below the eye. Then onto the ear. I'm going to bring that oval in just a little bit. Whoops, that doesn't look right. Neither does his mouth. I have to lift his mouth up a little bit. Sometimes this takes a lot of fixing and refixing. I actually don't like my oval too much, the way it's fitting with him. So I think I'm going to cut a little bit off the bottom. There, now he feels more like a little boy. I raised my line up just a little bit. It's going to come up here instead of down so low and out so wide. It's going to be a little bit smaller. Okay, it does not look good right now. It looks a little ugly. When we get done, he'll be cute, I promise. Jimmy is always warm and kind and cute. And you know what? While we're fixing things, I think I'm going to fix this eye. I think I want it a little bit closer to the nose, closer to that line, just a little bit. These are all really easy fixes. Don't get upset. Don't get nervous. But now I'm going to add his arms. He's going to be holding something. His arms are just going to be half of a circle and half of a circle. Okay? That's all we're going to draw right this second. For right now, it's just half a circle, half a circle. Now we're going to give him sleeves. Jimmy's always in a t-shirt. He's always got short sleeves on, because where he lives, it's warm. See that? Just a sleeve and a sleeve. I do like to give him shoulders. So we're going to take that half circle and draw 2 lines off of it. Just dropping his shoulders down just a little bit. Okay? You know what? I think his nose is too big too. I think this is how I draw. It's constantly changing. So I just pulled his nose in a little bit. Made it a little bit smaller. You can do whatever you like. Whatever you're comfortable with. We do have to give him another ear. And that's just a half circle, like a C, right over here. Matching up with the top of his eye. And then kind of pointing down to his mouth. Okay. I think I'm going to thin out his arm a little bit. So I'm going to pull that half circle in just a tidge, just a little. And his chest is right here. This probably isn't going to be important because he's going to be holding things. That line kind of signifies his chest. Now let's tackle his hair. I like to give Jimmy a really simple haircut that some of my friends who look like Jimmy have, where it's just the top of his head and it's all shaved down here. It's really clean. Okay, we've got Jimmy. Let's grab our big fat pen. I'm going to start with his eyes. And I don't want to go too heavy yet. Just 2 circles for his eyes. He looks weird there. I'm going to tackle his nose. Let me check something. I like to draw his nose with a thinner pen, so I'm grabbing my thin little Sharpie, the one I got at the dollar store the other day. And that's just a rectangle, just like that. But I've done it with my thin Sharpie instead of the fat one. I'm going to grab my fat Sharpie again and draw his, I'm going to draw his mouth. You can draw his mouth with a big smile. You can do anything you want. His eyes are kind of creepy, so I want to fill them in. I'm going to fill them in once again with the lines like we always do. Just lines. I'll show you in a sec. Oh, I think I need more lines. They're too light. You hear my pen? Just go and scratch, scratch, scratch. Okay, they still look creepy, but at least they're a little darker. We'll see what happens. I want to give him eyebrows. So I'm going to grab... Oh, sorry, I forgot to draw them in. No, that looks sad. Maybe because I didn't give him enough of the mouth. I mean, enough of a smile. Looks a little sad. I don't want him sad. I don't like my Jimmy sad. Alright, so you see the 2 little eyebrows? I can actually make him look happier in just a sec. I'm not going to stress about it. There's his 2 eyebrows. I'm going to take my pen and not go too heavy. Remember, he's just a little kid, so he doesn't have big furry eyebrows. There we go. Okay. I think I'm going to tackle his ear. Boink. 1 ear. I'm going to tackle the second ear. I'm going to tackle his forehead, which was that part of that circle, but now it's just a line. Okay. I'm going to tackle the other side of his head, which is almost turning into the back of his skull. Coming down to his ear. Okay. And I'm going to come down, and draw some of his face. Actually, what I like to do, on this side I give it a little bit of a curve, and then over here I give it a little bit more of a straight line, like that. Okay. And I kind of actually make his chin area more of a straight line. See, he's getting cuter. He's getting there. All right, for his shirt, I'm going to tackle the shoulders. One straight line, two straight lines. Yes? I like to do the sleeve next. The edge of the sleeve, one straight line, two straight lines. I'm going to draw the outside of the sleeve, kind of curved. Okay. And now his arms. And they're just going to be those lines. And we're going to make something so we don't have to worry about his hands yet. We don't have to worry about any of it. We may do his hands in a minute. I haven't decided. And then his chest. I think I pulled it in too straight, too thin, so I'm just straightening that out. All right, now for the top of his head, Jimmy has really curly hair. I don't draw every little curl, I just make squiggles. Ready? Let's squiggle. And I don't go too big at first, I just kind of squiggle. And then I look at it and I go, well, it's not tall enough. Jimmy looks a little too squat. So I give him more squiggle. Squiggle here. Squiggle. Squiggle. There we go. Here. It's a little messy today. I think Jimmy has a little messy hair today, but I don't want to go too big either. Maybe Jimmy's been stuck indoors and needs a haircut, so his hair got a little squiggly. You can do whatever you like. If you want to give him more hair, you give him more hair. If you want to give him less hair, you give him less hair. Now I'm going to tackle his mouth, and that is tough. The mouth is very difficult because we don't want to make it too dark. We don't want to make it too wide. But we do want to make sure that it's full. So, all right, I've redrawn mine. I erased a little bit of it. Okay. Just made it a little bit lighter, a little bit thinner. And for the mouth, I'm not drawing heavy lines. Sometimes I do very, very, very light swooshy lines, just like a big swish. On this one, because I'm not feeling very confident, I did a lot of dots and then lines. Okay? And I think, I want him smiling a little bit more. I want him happy. He's got a present for somebody, so I'm going to pull up the corners. There. Now he's smiling a little bit more. I want to check something. Because I've got something else. Let's see. Sometimes what I do, and I think this is what I'm missing here and why he doesn't look quite so happy. I didn't really draw any cheeks. And he's going to have cheeks. If he's smiling, he's going to lift up. So I'm going to draw, you see those? A line under the eye and a line under the eye, and then he'll look more like he's smiling. I think I brought his mouth over a little too far over there. This isn't my best Jimmy, but we're gonna stick with it. There, let me just get 2 lines. Yeah, not my best Jimmy, but it's okay. Let me see. Now, normally I put a collar on him. Let's see if I can figure out the collar. Maybe we're going to make a collar, but we're not going to go all the way around. I'm just going to make a line under his chin. Watch. That's enough. It doesn't have to be a big deal. And I think I want to put another line for his sleeve. Make it a little fancy. Maybe I'll give him another line for the collar. And I'll just leave it like that. Or maybe that. I kind of make things up as I go along. And that's okay. Right, that looks like a weird collar, but we're going to stick with it. Okay, so let's, if you can, let's erase some of the lines. Oh, he is cute. A little different than what I usually draw, but he's still cute. He's still our Jimmy. He's still our Jimmy. Just like that. Why don't we cut him out, and then we'll have all that scrap paper we can play with. Let's cut. Not right on the black line, leaving white paper around it. We're not worrying about the cuts being perfect or the lines being perfect. We never do. If you want perfect, get a robot to do it. This is where our personality shows through, is in the boo-boos and being able to accept them and still work with them. Maybe figuring out how to do it differently for next time. Or the time after that. It's okay. See, I'm cutting right around the black lines. Leaving white paper here and there, just because it looks interesting. I want it all to be interesting. Okay, there's her Jimmy. All cut out. Now, we're going to make the surprise. We're going to make... Ha ha ha, okay, I got it. I was really going between a bouquet of flowers, which actually, I was running between a bouquet of flowers and a pot of flowers. A flower pot. But you know what? Let's go with the bouquet of flowers since it's almost Mother's Day. And people usually, some people give a bouquet of flowers to their mums, or to their aunties, or to their grandmas, or to the lady next door, or to their Sunday school teacher. We're going to draw that bouquet of flowers. Right? First, we've got to make sure that it fits with Jimmy. Turn this. Okay? So, here I've got my scrap of paper. And because I don't like wasting wasting paper. I'm just going to use what I have. All right, I've drawn a shape like a kite, where it's kind of fat, wide, like that. Now, because this is all wrapped up in paper, we've got the two triangles. I apologize, I wasn't clear. We've got the two triangles on top of each other. Line, 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 line. Two triangles on top of each other. But we're going to we're going to separate them with a little bit of a curvy line. Okay? Just like that, a curvy line. And I think, yeah, that's where the paper's been rolled up to hold the flowers, I think. Let me see something. You know what? I'm changing gears again. Instead of having that curvy line, let's draw two more lines, almost in the shape of another rectangle coming down. Let's draw that. Okay? Line coming down, line coming down. And the flowers are going in there. We're going to draw some right now before we do pen and ink on it. We're going to draw those flower shapes that we've done before, where it's just a circle and then a squiggly line. Okay? A circle and a squiggly line. A circle and a squiggly line. Ooh, that squiggly line went outside the paper, and that's perfect because that's what flowers are going to do. We're going to draw. You know what we need in this? We need greens, because flowers come with green leaves. So let's draw those green leaves that we've drawn before. And remember, the green leaves are a line, just one line, and then two curvy lines. Curvy, curvy, just like that. We're going to do that again, and we're going over the top of the paper. So I don't want you to worry about it. One line, two curvy lines. We're going over the paper that we drew in, the imaginary wrapping paper that we drew in. We're going to go over it instead of staying inside of it. I'm going to do one here, a line, two curvy lines. I think I'm going to have one coming out this way. A line, two curvy lines. I'm going to erase some of this so I don't get confused. Okay? There we go. Now you can see it. There's that leaf sticking out. I'm going to draw another one coming out this way. I might draw a couple. A line, two curvy lines, line. See, I drew two new ones. And I'm going to take away that line in the middle, where the wrapping paper is. Oh, that eraser doesn't work at all. Okay, that's what I have. Now I think I'm going to draw. Let me see if I can remember something. How do I draw a rose? Oh, okay. Now I remember. forgot how I draw a rose. Those are going to be too complicated to draw in the paper, the roses. So why don't we do this? Let's fill in what we have. I'm going to take my fat pen again, and I'm going to start with the leaves because they're kind of the background. Straight line, curvy, curvy, straight line, curvy, curvy. And we're going to be making flowers that actually go over the top of this. So I don't want you to flip out if, you know, it doesn't look right away. We're going to do some more work on this. Curvy, straight line, curvy, curvy. Straight line, curvy, curvy. Straight line, curvy, curvy. Okay? I can put in more greens. You can put in more greens if you like too. Why don't we do that now? I'm just going to put in the curvy lines like that. Like that one. I think that's what I'm going to do. Put another curvy up there. Put another curvy here. Maybe another curvy here. See? It's starting to look like a flower bouquet a little bit. Curvy here. Okay. It's starting to feel a little fall. Why don't we go ahead and take care of the flowers that we drew with the circle in the center and the squiggly lines for petals. They don't have to be any particular shape. They're imaginary flowers, so they can have any shape you want. Kind of looks like a fried egg. I'm going to do a circle in the middle, circle in the middle, and then curvy lines on the outside. Circle in the middle, curvy on the outside. Just like that. We're going to fill in the center with the lines just like we did on Jimmy's eyes and we've done on other projects now. Just lines right in the centers. I like to have my lines going in different directions. See? I think we're going to do something else. We're going to add some lines to the leaves. Let's see how that looks. That's what I did. Just lines. Let's try it on another one and see how it looks. Just lines. How are we doing for time? We got time. Lines. I'm going to do more lines on other leaves. Just like that. I got one more up here. Alright, now I'm going to tackle the paper, the wrapping paper. And like I said, this is not the end of it. We're going to be making flowers and gluing them on. So it's going to look nice and full by the time we get done. So I've got the top of the paper, wrapping paper right there. I've got the side, and then this is going to have two lines. One, two, sorry, a third line coming down. Three. You understand? So that's 3 lines. We're going to have a line over here. Drew that line coming down. That line coming down to the front of the bouquet. Another line coming down to the front. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping ahead. There. So we've got line, 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 line. Following our pencil lines from before. Okay, we've got a bouquet started. Now we're going to come down. We're going to do, whoops, the rest of the wrapped bouquet, just like that. All the flowers would be sitting inside. So we've done that. Now we're going to make some roses. This is a little bit more complicated. I'm not going to have you draw them with a pencil because it's just going to take too much time and get complicated. We're just going to do the best we can with the pen, and it will be fine. So we're going to do a curly Q, just like that. Curly Q. Then we're going to do a line and a line. Looks like a snail. And then we're going to do a little bit of line like that. I think I'm doing this right. We may have to try again, but it'll be okay. And we're going to do squiggly line. It doesn't matter that it attaches anywhere. It doesn't matter. Let's try another squiggly line. Let's draw, oh, I'm going to put a line there. That's just what I'm going to do, but we're not going to worry about any of it, are we? Drawing another squiggly line. And all these squiggly lines and all these little lines we're making are going to make a rose, or the idea of a rose. That's all we need. We don't need to make it look like a real rose. We're just going to squiggly line it. It's kind of big. Mine is very big. Why don't we call this our practice rose? Because it is very big. It's not going to fit in that bouquet. It'll take up the whole bouquet. So this was our practice rose. Doing all these squiggly lines off of it. It's getting bigger and bigger. Okay, let's stop making that very large rose. Let's try and make something smaller. Tell you what. Let's see if we can make something about the same size as the flowers in the bouquet. Something about that size. So we're going to go little spiral. Little spiral. Much smaller than the first one we made. Little. Okay. And we're just going to make squiggly. Squiggly, squiggly, squiggly. Okay. Look at how little that is. Squiggly, squiggly, squiggly. Squiggly, squiggly, squiggly. Squiggly, squiggly, squiggly. Squiggly, squiggly. That looks actually more like a carnation, which I also like too. They smell nice. I think they smell better than roses. We're making carnations. We're not making roses anymore. Okay, let's make another one. Although if you want to call yours a rose, you can. It's okay. So I'm going to do it again. Another little spiral in the center. And then make it squiggly lines off of it. Carnations have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of petals like that. Love the way they smell. They smell so fresh. I like them better than roses. I'm just doing squigglies. another paper circle, about the same size as the flowers we just made. Doing another curly Q in the center. Now, did you notice in this video, I've changed my mind about things several times. Changed this idea from a rose to a carnation. I've changed the shape of Jimmy's face. I've changed the shape of his mouth. Still not sure I'm happy with it. But what I want you to see in all these changes is that even though you've made all these changes, and they're not what somebody else might call perfect, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It can still be fun. It can still be satisfying. And it can still make you happy. All right, I've got 1, 2, 3 carnations, or whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to cut those out. I'm going to get rid of some of this pencil line in here too, before I start gluing these in. Okay, let me get some pencil line off of that. Yeah, I've changed. We started this one, and I realized it was too big, so we just did it again. And a few years ago, that's something that would have made me nervous and upset. And now I don't care, because I know it's all okay. Cutting around the carnation. You can call it a peony if you like. You can call it anything you like. I'm just going to call it a carnation. We could have drawn little buds too, buds and stems, but we're going to keep this simple because we're running out of time. In one of the other videos, we learned how to draw buds. Very much like leaves, where they're just a couple of lines. We're going to keep this simple. Simple is good. Simple is peaceful. Simple keeps your heart quiet. Okay, I cut out my 3 flowers. I cut them out. Now I'm going to find where I want to glue them in. It looks like they may go over the top. Looks like they might cover the flowers that we just, 1 or 2 of the flowers that we just drew. You don't have to. If you decide that you don't want them in there, don't put them in. I think I'm going to do that, and I can't hold it up, they'll fall all over the place. You find the best place for your flowers. Oop. Oh look, the pen went right through. We talked about that before, how the pen can bleed through the paper. It happened. I know that's the back side because I've got notes on the back side of my scrap paper. So I'll glue that one down. I'm going to glue the biggest one on next. There's the notes. The pen went right through the paper. Look at that. That's the thing I don't like about Sharpies. But it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's what we have. So I got 2 flowers down. And I'll put this 3rd one in too. Let me see something. You know what? I decided to put the third one way down there. I think I need something for there, so I am going to make a little bud. Look, I changed my mind again. It happens a lot. So I'm grabbing another little piece of scrap paper, and it's going to be 2 lines, making a little oval. I'm going to have 2 lines like that. And then a little line coming down for the stem. Ah. Okay. It's almost like an ankh. Let's see, how do you spell ankh? A-N-K-H, I believe. Ankh. Look that up. A-N-K-H. Okay, I'm cutting my bud out carefully, but not too carefully. There it is, my little unk bud. I'm going to glue him right in that empty space right there. Don't make him that way. Put him that way. Huh. Right, now I'm going to cut out, let's cut out the bouquet. Finish putting this together. We've only got a few minutes left. Cutting around all the black, cutting around the black lines. Carefully, but not too carefully. Leaving white space. What you might need to do next, and I'm going to figure it out in just a sec, is if Jimmy needs hands, because he would be holding this with something. Sometimes hands can be very daunting. If you've never drawn them before. So Jimmy could be holding this like this. Yeah, he needs hands. Jimmy could be holding this like this. He could be holding it like this. We gotta think, how do we want those? If you were doing it like this, if you're holding it like this, which a lot of people would, you would need a hand here. And then a hand, probably a hand here. Well, regardless, I've decided I'm going to put mine to the side a little bit so it's not covering his face. You can cover his face if you like. I'm not going to cover his face. Because whoever he's giving this to would want to see his smiling face. So I'm going to put it to the side a little bit. Just like that. Okay. And I think for right now we're going to stop right there. The hands are going to take some time, and I don't want to push you on it. I don't want to rush you on it. Now don't forget, you can take these and photocopy them. You can make copies so you can color this and make this over and over again. Don't forget. But I'm going to glue this together because I don't have a copying machine. And I would rather make a new one the next time. Alright, and see how I lined him up? I actually made the bottom of his shirt kind of straight. And then his, the bouquet of flowers is going here. Oh, you know what? I need room for his hand. So I don't want it down too low. I'm going to go like, alright, I've just changed my mind again, and it's all okay. So in the next video, we'll make his hands, okay? So this is what we've got so far. We're going to make his hands, and we may make a background for him too. Or maybe we'll make another sleeve for this guy. We'll see what happens. It's all okay. Doesn't matter. Alright? There we are. This is Jimmy. There's Jimmy. So even if you decide to just make this for a gift, you've got something started, okay? For Mother's Day or for a birthday, anything. Alright. Say bye, Jimmy. Bye. Say bye-bye. Alright, ciao. We'll see you again soon. Ciao.